All right. Peace and greetings, YouTubers. Tito Jackson. So when I tell you I was not ready for that news today, okay, like, man, and it's crazy because we were just talking about this on the last live a few days ago where I was talking about how as many of these pioneers in music continue to transition, it just reminds you that certain elements and eras that you love to reminisce on slowly chip away as time progresses, because in all reality the world continues to change and evolve, and as that time progresses and as those changes take place, there are going to be some who don't make that transition because they're kind of locked into a different era in time. And so that's kind of the hard thing to accept as you watch people continue to transition on and go on to what's next, because you want everybody to be here, right? It's especially like people that you have that connection to their music or their movies or whatever sport they played. It reminds you of a specific place and time that you used to be, or happier times. So when I was doing my live, I was talking about how there's a specific golden era of my childhood that I remember, where I just think back to just being surrounded by like family, and this is when everybody's healthy, nobody's sick, nobody has cancer, nobody has crazy diabetes that's messing with, like, everybody's good, everybody's getting along, right? And you're a kid, so you don't have to work, you don't have anything to worry about. And even if there are problems in the world, because you're so young and naive, you don't even realize them. And then I just think about all the music that was playing in the background during these cookouts and birthday parties and road trips and holidays and summers at grandma's, like all that kind of stuff. And so when I think of acts like the Jacksons or Frankie Beverly or a lot of the greats that have come out of the eras from even before my time, they all play a role into what I call that golden era of my childhood, because that is the music my parents were playing, or the music my grandma and my aunts and uncles were playing, right? And it's the music you heard in the background and what you heard at the grocery store and in the car and, you know, sometimes at church, depending on, you know, what was going on at the church, right? The pastor start preaching and start singing a random song, the congregation join in, and you're like, this one ain't gospel, but all right, enjoy. But like, yeah, so when I think of Tito, I think of that same aspect. Like, I feel like the Jacksons in general are just a family that when you talk about the blueprint and the foundation of just American music, because it's one element that, yes, it's black music, it's black culture, it's everything, but they were able to bring that to a mainstream audience and introduce everybody to it. And the thing about, I'll say specifically with that family, is I think there's some people who have gifts that can't be taught. You just naturally have it. And when you're talking about Tito and the fact that, you know, he never had guitar lessons, he taught himself to play, right? And not only that, but played it well. And I think there's certain people who just have certain gifts where you just naturally have it. And I think for that family, when you look at what they've been able to contribute to, not only just music, but pop culture and just entertainment in general, like, some of that is just stuff that people just naturally have. You know, they're skilled and trained, and then there's people who just got that raw talent that they can polish and do whatever they want with. And I think of that when I think of the Jacksons. And then again, somebody was saying this earlier, like, just imagine if Tito wasn't brave enough to go and touch that guitar. Because remember, the backstory is, you know, Joe had the guitar because Joe used to do music, their father. And they were not supposed to be touching that guitar. And what happened? Tito was inquisitive. He liked to learn how to do music, and he'd been playing, and then he popped them strings, right? Then they got in trouble. And just imagine, I always kept thinking, like, what if them strings didn't get popped, right? Would we have had a Jackson 5 that would have eventually become the Jacksons? And would that have opened the doors for the other Jackson family members and, you know, the Janets and everybody else who would come after? And then the next generations, like 3T and Austin Brown, would that have given them those kind of opportunities, right? And so you just start wondering, because a lot of times, if there's anything to be learned with life, and I'll just use Tito's example again, having the inquisitiveness to step out and say, well, I really want to learn how to do the guitar. Now, he was brave, because listen, if I was Tito, I would have been too scary, because Joe didn't take no mess. So if I were Tito, the Jacksons would have still been in Gary right now, okay? Jermaine Jackson would have had a lawn care business. LaToya would have been a librarian. Janet would have been manager of the year to Target, right? Getting ready to retire soon. If I would have been Tito, we would have never made no Jackson 5, because I wouldn't have touched the guitar. But again, that idea of sometimes that fear that we have of different things is the reason why we don't take that extra step, or we don't take that promotion, or we don't, you know, take that job in another state, or we don't go out and try something we've never tried before, because that fear of what people are going to say, or that fear of failure, or that fear of things going wrong. And so a lot of times we psych ourselves out and kind of close the door on different opportunities because we get in our own way, right? And so I kind of look at him, even just as a young boy, with the inquisitiveness to want to play a guitar, and not only play it, but be really good at it. I just see that as sometimes when you step out there, even when you don't know what is coming up afterwards, when there's a period of uncertainty, you're not sure whether it's going to work out or not, but the best thing is at least you did it, at least you tried, right? And I think for a lot of us, sometimes we miss out on things because of that. So it's always better to at least just step out there and go for it. That's kind of the life lesson I'm living right now. The last year or two has just been a year of yes for me. Like, we just gonna do it all. Even if it don't make sense, we're gonna try it. But I hope everything works out with the family. I know the brothers they were doing spot dates. I was reading, I think they have a show in October, November. I'm not sure what's going on with that. I'm sure they'll probably postpone. They might take a break. And I get it, it's tough, it's your sibling. And I know Janet as well, the European leg of her tour is supposed to be starting, and I think she has a show in South Africa this week. So, no telling what happens, but at the end of the day, family comes first. So for anybody who starts getting attitude, if these people start canceling shows, this is their brother that has just passed. I know we all like to be entertained by these celebrities, and we like to have our shows and have our moments, but understand these people are still human, right? And I think that's kind of like what Janet had said when Michael passed, where she was like, to you, Michael is an icon, but to us, he's family. Like, these are still people that have feelings and emotions and connections. And, it's tough to lose a sibling. And to me, 70 is not very old. It's up there, but, when I think of 70, I think of Tina Turner still being on tour, right? Tina Turner at 69 doing Proud Mary and Better Be Good to Me. So, I can't imagine losing a sibling. My brother and I butt heads on occasion, but I can't imagine a world without him at the moment. So that's got to be tough. And even for Catherine, the mother, to have to bury your child, that's the third one, right? Because remember, you had Marlon's twin that didn't make it, and then you have Michael, and now you have Tito. That's tough on any family and on any parent. And so I hope everything works out for them. But like I said, I think the legacy of that family is something that's cemented in entertainment. It's not going anywhere, no matter how much people try to change the narratives or shift things. That family has contributed so much that you're seeing the offspring all over, right? Like I said before, I told you I'm like a big Jackson fanatic. I was digging through all my closet with all my Jackson stuff. Now this shirt is like 20 years old, so it don't look great no more. But remember they had the cartoon? So I had my little Jackson 5 cartoon shirt. And then I had the second edition. It was called Popster Magazine, right? This one is Michael, but when you open it, well, one, there's a bunch of stuff in here. So now it was Michael the Superstar at 12, but they interviewed all the brothers. They got Tito on the back. Tito's portion said, just call him Tito. He was born October 15th, 1953, which makes him a Libran. A happy and harmonious soul. He plays guitar and sings harmony, and he nurses this ambition to be as good as a blues guitarist as B.B. King. The Jackson 5 sensation stemmed from him in a way because he was the first of the boys to pick up an instrument and learn to play. Now he's the organizer of the group. Tito's eyes are brown. He's 5'8". Okay, I'm 5'8" too. Right. Is a terrific photographer, is a stickler for punctuality, screams round the neighborhood on a motorbike and wearing a red, white, and blue crash helmet, and is married. He knew Dolores Marches, I think that's Dee Dee, for nearly 2 years before marrying her in the summer of 1972. So they have that. But the cool thing, when you open it all the way, it's this big giant, I'm trying to be careful because this is from 72, and it has this big giant poster of all the Jacksons, right? Bam, bam, that's all of them, right? And then the back side is all the profiles of like the siblings and everything. So yeah, y'all know I like collecting all kind of stuff. I'm a music dork, so I like to have bits from all these different eras. But the thing that I will say is that I'm grateful that they have, as far as that family, the work that they've done has been able to transcend through generations, right? Which is really, really cool. And again, the work ethic that family has. And even just what they were just saying in that, with him kind of being, I guess, the organizer, the one probably being the stickler for everybody being on time and stuff, all that plays off and pays off. I mean, later down the line when it comes to the work that you put in, so the payoff comes. But like I said, sad to see him go, but you're also glad that he was here, right? And that's just how life works, unfortunately. We come and we go. And so what is it that you can do while you're here, right? I guess the other aspect is sometimes as these people transition, those voids aren't filled, which kind of sucks. But I always look at it as the voids aren't supposed to be filled because there's supposed to be new lanes that are created based on the work from the previous generations before, right? So that's kind of how I try to look at it. But yeah, it sucks to see these people transition, but hey, I feel like the legacy lives on and that music will be around forever. So rest in peace to Tito, and like I said, I hope the Jackson family as well, to the super fans, I hope y'all are good as well. It's tough to keep losing all these people. That's why I'm like, let's appreciate everybody while they're here. I think we get too comfortable living in the now and living in the moment. Like, understand, everything is not forever. So while these people are here, those loved ones, friends, and entertainers and everything, when these people come to your town on tour, you catch them. You never know, right? Anyway, I'm out. Share your 2 cents, subscribe.